this computer. And we're still getting a few people coming in. So we have quite a few folks tonight. So I'm going to get things started. And I am going to do our first, we kind of started this tradition about when we started our gala about what everybody's drinking tonight. So you can go ahead and select what you're drinking this evening. And if you would like to, or what you would like to be drinking. I kind of changed a little bit for tonight. So I wish we were drinking something that we really.
And you can only select one, right?
You can only select one. I'm sorry, I don't know how to change that. I haven't figured that one out yet. The multiple choice checkoff box. So I'm just going to do a little introduction, and I'm probably going to just have everybody say hi.
Your video's not on.
I can do it. I know how to do it.
I'm Stacey Ardeline. I'm Fuse Artistic Director as well as the Director of Forks in the Dark. So welcome to our official talkback for Being Me is Ridiculous. And I actually know Hanna because she was a student of mine when I was helping to direct at San Leandro High School. So that's how we originally reconnected when she bought me a drink at a bar. So she was a lot older. She was legal then. Just mom and dad wanted you to know that. So I'm super excited. So I mean, I'm sure all of you know. Well, she's here to me, but so Hanna, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll just go around and introduce everybody.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Hanna. I think I know most of you. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. It's been a really overwhelming week in good ways. Lots of feelings, lots of really positive feedback. So thanks for responding to the story in such a positive way. Yeah.
Great. I'll just go down the list. Chelsea. Hi.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I work for Fuse with Stacey, and I'm also part of the Three Sparks in Dark I wrote and am in Echoes of Them. That's up online right now.
Great.
That's me.
Okay. Solid Carla, you're up.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm Hanna's mom.
And I'm Saul, I'm Hanna's dad.
Woohoo!
Also her tech crew.
Yes, her dad.
Yeah.
Right
Don't
there.
forget the words. No, we do it all.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. and Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Anna?
That's me. I'm Anna. I've known Hanna for I figured almost 20 years. We went to summer camp together. And this is Jeff. He's my husband. He's also a big Hanna fan.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah. Okay, Naomi.
I'm Naomi. I know Hanna from Cal State LA. I can't remember when we met, but more than 7-8 years ago, whenever we came to Cal State LA.
Yeah, I think it was like 2013. So yeah.
So and yeah, that's it. I'm in Baton Rouge right now.
Wow, thank you. All right, and Peter.
Hello. Hanna and I went to undergrad together. I'm currently in Maryland, so it's a little darker out here than it appears to be for most of you.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having it at 5 p.m. and not 8 p.m.
That's why we did it. We all know people all across the country. We're like, Thanks for being here. Okay, and Nick. Hi.
Hi. My name's Nick. I know Hanna because I'm her sister's boyfriend. And I just watched the play and I thought it was amazing.
Thanks, Nick. Great. Thanks. And Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm Hanna's sister.
Yeah, anything else? All right, great. And Rick?
I'm Rick Friedman. I'm on the board of directors of Fuse Theater, and I am not coincidentally married to Stacey, and right now sitting about
2 feet away.
I'm right over here.
All right, thanks. And Terry.
Hi, my name's Terry Sturdivant. I'm also a Fuse board member, and Hanna, I don't think we've met yet, but I really enjoyed your play, and I'm here to support women playwrights. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay.
Yay. And Colleen?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Hi. I am Hannah's proud aunt.
Yay.
And I'm Eric, one of her Uncle Eric's, and also very proud.
Yes, Hannah, you are awesome. I'm here to support you.
Yeah. This is great.
Really enjoyed it, Hannah.
Yeah.
It's even better in person, I think.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. Thank
They're in Oregon, so.
And Sue.
Hi, Hannah's probably saying, who is this person? I did meet you and you were probably maybe 4 years old at the time at your parents' house. And it's been forever since I've seen Carla and Saul, so hi. And I loved watching your play.
Thank you.
I'm the director of Youth Drama for All, so I'm very interested in all of this.
Awesome. Great to meet you, Sue. All right.
Thank
and
you.
Christina.
Hi, Hanna, and hi, Naomi, and hi, other people from Hanna's life. I'm Christina Hackel. I'm also from Cal State LA. I'm I was the director of the MFA when Hanna was there, and now I'm chair of TBF. So the administration excitement continues. Oh, I miss you guys. Miss you guys.
It's like a reunion.
Yeah.
Claire, say hello.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm in drama therapy school with Hanna, and she is a smart, sparkly magician, and her show was incredible. So, hello, it's nice to see you all.
Thank you. Okay, and how about cousin Linda?
Hi, everybody. This is cousin Linda. I got to see you in person, and it was so exciting to see you again. You're such an awesome performer. And I look forward to seeing any new things you're going to be doing.
Great, thank you. And Max?
Hi, I'm Max. I'm another cohort mate of Hanna in drama therapy school, and I'm a huge fan of Hanna, and I'm a huge fan of this new show, and here to support her.
Great, thank you, Max. And Cornell?
Hi, I just want to say I'm so proud of Hanna for sharing that story. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Cornell.
Cornell's also a dad. He's Chelsea's dad, who's come on to this one as well. So thanks, Cornell. And Heather.
Hi, everybody. I'm doing my hair right now, so I'm not going to turn my video. That's something you guys want to see. But I was in, because I went there, and I'm just a new fan of Fuse and Hanna, and I'm just here to enjoy with you guys tonight.
Heather.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody, for introducing yourselves. And it looks like most of us are keeping well hydrated. The number one thing is water this evening. I also have water tonight. I don't get to vote as the facilitator. So thank you for doing the poll. That was just a little icebreaker for us. So again, I want to thank everybody for supporting Hanna in this work. We try to give voice to those stories that aren't often told, and that's part of our mission. So this is an opportunity for y'all to talk and to ask Hanna any questions, or you can talk about the experience of theater in isolation and togetherness in odd ways that we're still discovering. And is there anyone who has anything they'd like to start with? And you can kind of raise your hand up. Anyone? And you can also use the chat function. That's a great way to put questions up while Hanna's talking. Yeah, Terry.
Okay. So I guess I'd like to start with how you decided to write this. If while you were going through the experience, you kept a journal and said, oh, someday I'm going to make a play out of this, or afterwards, or you did therapy and you did your own drama therapy, or kind of how it, what you feel like sharing about how you decided to do a play / monologue about it.
Sure. Yeah, great question. So this all happened in between my second and third year of my first master's degree, which was in dramatic writing. So I was gearing up to write a thesis, and I wanted it to be a one-woman show. And then after this crazy experience, it was like, well, clearly I have to write about this. So like I said in the play, I kept a blog going just to keep track of the shenanigans. And then I also pulled from text messages and some journaling and Facebook posts, and then just sort of like wrote a first draft and got here eventually 5 years later. Yeah, 4 years later.
Great, thank you, Hannah. Does anyone else have any other questions they'd like to pose as we get started?
So I don't know if this is a fair question because it's actually a question for Emma. Hi, Emma.
I thought maybe Emma might get some questions.
I haven't seen you in a few years, but nice to talk to you. So I was thinking about you because like you and Hanna, I have a sister that I'm very close to. So how was your experience, with you, because you've lived all this with Hanna, and then you got to experience the play, and seeing it through her eyes. How does it feel now to be here, in this moment?
It feels pretty amazing. I mean, during the whole experience, I was up at college for most of it. But I came home, obviously, when she was in the emergency room and in the hospital. And I kind of felt like during that time, I had to be the strong one because my parents were in it and it was really emotional. And obviously, Hanna was going through everything. So I never cried during that whole time. I was the one who had to keep shit together. And the first time I ever cried about it was like a year later when Hanna let me read the final draft. And then when I watched this with my roommates the other day, I literally was sobbing the entire time because I'm so proud of her and the fact that she's here today and sharing all the things that she went through and being so brave in doing it and never stop being a fighter.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, Emma actually called me in the middle of the talk back for because I went there, and so we like paused, went over here, cried, got back on the call back. It was rather intense, but that's my baby Emma.
Thank you, Emma, for sharing that. I appreciate it. Great. Any other? Yay. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so I haven't had the privilege of seeing it live. I loved this format too. I mean, I haven't seen it live yet, but I loved it because it felt like you were like in my living room with me. But I'm wondering how it was for you filming it, going through that and filming it with your parents and having that kind of like intimacy with your parents filming that. Like, what was that experience like versus the live show, which I'm excited to see eventually at some point?
Yeah, good question. And I feel like the parentals should respond too. It was like fine, and then they would like cry, and I'd be like, oh God, right. Really intense emotional stuff here. I felt sort of like removed from it. Like, I don't know, like really present, just trying to get through shooting. And then my mom would be like, oh, you got me. And I was like, oh, right. So then we'd pause and hug and cry and then get back to shooting. And I like foolishly didn't expect that, which is weird. Anyway, Mom and Dad, do you want to respond?
Yeah, well, I realized that I really don't know anything about producing a film, and Hanna would get annoyed with me that I didn't understand various things that I was supposed to be doing. But we figured it out. And yeah, I mean, it was, every time I see the play, every time I read it, I cry. And it's kind of hard for me because I feel like I'm reliving it, every time. But I think it's amazing. And I'm crying. So there you go.
Well, we're all with you. Linda, did you have a question?
Yes. Hello, cousins. Good
Hello, cousin.
morning. Hi. I noticed the one part in the live performance that where your mom and I just really broke down crying the most was when you laid on the bed and cried live. And I noticed that wasn't in the video. Was that on purpose or?
Good question. No, I think there, okay. There's something magical and spiritual about live theater, and like, I'm not somebody who can cry on cue, so it just, that is what happened that day. And then filming, it just didn't happen.
That's what I figured. How in the world would you make that happen in your bedroom with no audience there? So I kind of figured that. It was still, I was kind of glad because you changed it up a little bit. So I wasn't exactly seeing the exact same thing I'd already seen. And I got to tell you, I was totally impressed with not only your performance, but how well it was videographed and the special effects. That special effects was fun. How did you do that?
Thank you. iMovie, yeah.
It was quite a group effort.
My dad edited the first one, and then he kind of showed me how to do the second one, and then we just really played. I also looked up stuff on YouTube. I Googled stuff. It was just like, we're just making it happen.
Yeah, that's how, we're all theater artists, so we're like, oh, how does this work now? So it's been really great, and like all the creative energies and learning all the new technology. It's not new technology for us, but how to make that happen online and whatnot. So took a village. Great. Go ahead,
So
Nate.
I'm curious, Hanna, can you describe like the major differences between the live version and this version? I really wish I had seen it live.
Sure. So the live version was in 2 parts, so I did it over 2 Mondays. So it had this sort of segmented feeling, and like we did film the film version over 4 different days, but it was all put together, so everyone got to see the whole story in one go, which I appreciated because the dream is to do it for real in a theatrical space. There were some things we changed, like instead of typing on a computer in the first half, I was on my phone, or instead of having my dogs with me, I had a photo. And I think there may have been more movement. Like I went from the bed to like this chair area to another chair area versus just being in an actual bed. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
I think I'm actually curious about like the staging, like how.
Sure.
This was our rehearsals. Can I jump in here for a second?
Yes, please.
Hannah and I would rehearse, and she would go, well, how does this look? And then she'd turn it, and then I'd say, oh, that's a good shot. And she just used her house and figuring out within the part, like where she needed to move, or when she needed to move, or when she wanted to move. So we did that, and then she filmed it with her folks. So go ahead, Hanna.
So there were kind of like 3 different sections on stage. Like there was a table that acted like a bed, and then we had a table and a chair stage left, and then maybe something similar stage right. And so stage right was like the car area / the writing area. Stage left was like my parents' house. So I would sort of move from space to space. Other than that, and the use of props, like I don't know if it was that different. Yeah.
And filming over 4 days, because there were 4 different.
Yeah.
So she would jump in the middle of it instead of starting at the beginning, moving through.
Yeah. Oh,
it didn't seem like it was filmed over 4 days, so that's
Thank you.
Yeah, especially because we went to a film, TV, and theater program, so.
Yeah, it's cool because my training came through. Thanks. It was also, it was really interesting working with my parents because I like expected them to like know the shorthand and like have like just like the vision and
what?
So my mom struggled to like get comfortable with sound cues, and like my dad, you like used to teach film editing to kids, so like but still it was like, oh, this is new for them. So
20 years ago.
yeah, so that was
30 years ago.
Peter, did you have a question or something you wanted to
Yeah, I'm curious about what you brought up. You know, you want to do it in a big full space at some point, and I am curious what your version in your head of all the money in the world, time doesn't matter, money doesn't matter. What does that production look like?
Ooh, thanks, professional.
The one we were gonna do in April. That's
so it involved projection. So like the scenery would shift with projection. So I wanted I don't really have photographs of my old apartment, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to have like images of the hospital. I was gonna have projections of like what I looked like recovering from jaw surgery, because like that is a silly thing. And then I also kind of wanted to have the headings of the scenes projected instead of me saying them, or if I get lost, could be like, where are we? Oh, right, we're there. I think those were the main things. Yes. Yeah, good question, Pete. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Any other?
I have a question.
Oh, everybody, okay.
So Hanna, we didn't get to see your live version, but did you say you performed it in 2 parts?
Yeah.
So what's that all about?
I'll tell you, my lady.
Okay.
So I did it at the Monday Night Marsh, which is at the Marsh Theater, which is a really famous solo show venue where like Brian Copeland does his shows and a bunch of other Bay Area regulars. And they have this program called Monday Night Marsh where you get 20 minutes, I think, with 2 other artists for 2 Mondays. And so luckily my show is short. So I did the first half on one Monday, the second half on another Monday, because you get free space. So, and that's how it worked.
You go in at the very beginning of the night. We went in and set some cues before we started, and so you don't get a lot of rehearsal in the space, and it has to be really, kind of. And so we rehearsed for that, and then
yeah, we quickly teched it, and then we did it.
She did it. You did it.
And it was amazing. We had almost, I think, a full house the first night. And I got a standing ovation, which was crazy. And then the second night was still a good turnout. Yeah, it was a dream come true. And I hope that we can do it for real one day. Because that was supposed to be now, but oh well.
Now we were, so we are planning that, we are hoping that this was part of the Bay Area Women's Theater Festival. And so hopefully they'll do it again next year, and we'll take these plays, that's the plan, take these plays and then produce them the way we were going to, for next year. So this was a pivot, as they now say. That seems to be like the buzzword, from our programming we were going to do April 17th through the 21st, and then we turned it into this. So thank you for being a part of our pivot.
I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
How do you feel, because your play has like over 500 views, how does that feel to have your story out there like on the internet for everyone to see?
Good question. It's been super overwhelming and crazy pants. First, here are like some of the thoughts I've had. The first one was like, is it just me checking how many views I have? And then it was like, I felt really vulnerable. Like, are people gonna respond to it positively? Are they gonna think I'm a weirdo? Or they think I'm oversharing? And then I started worrying about like my career as a drama therapist, and if what I shared is going to, like, people will discriminate against me in some way, or I won't be able to get a job. I thought about that in the shower today. It was like, oh no, maybe I've ruined my life. But then in some ways it's really exciting, and I feel like my story is reaching people, and that's the whole point. So many feelings, Emma.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is about the part where you're feeling despondent, and I guess maybe this question might be more for Emma. I was really impressed where it appeared to me that Emma just zoned in on what you were going through and understood. And so my question is, what I gathered was that you, at some point, you just went into her bedroom and you just held her, and there's a therapy technique called holding. Was that something that you were aware of, or did you just instinctively do that, or how did that all come about?
No, so my parents were actually getting ready to take Hanna back to the hospital, and I knew that that wasn't the right thing to do because she had literally just gotten home from having to go to the ER twice, and she was like panicking and freaking out. But so I knew that I was obviously gonna go with them and be an advocate for her. So I was like getting dressed to go to the hospital, and I saw her just like laying on her bed, like curled up in the fetal position basically. And so I just laid down next to her and just.
I'm gonna cry. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
I didn't know that that was a therapy technique, but it makes sense.
You're a natural.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, she's amazing. Sure. Yeah, I mean, that saved me. Like, I mean, and you just like followed your instincts, and it's amazing. So.
You're my baby.
I'm my baby.
Thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So when she did hug you, what about that made this huge shift in you? Like, what do you think was that switch that just made you go, oh, this is
Good question. I haven't really thought about that. I think it was grounding is what's coming up. Like I was not, we'll use a therapy term, not in consensus reality. And she brought me back to like being on the earth, I think. And it allowed me to be like, oh, okay, so what I'm experiencing is like this thing, but I'm actually in my bed and my sister is holding me, and like, I think it allowed me to like maybe relax and also focus on like, we just gotta get through this weird thing, like it's gonna be okay. Yeah, it was like grounding and comforting.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Also, hi, Haiti. Haiti joined us. Yay.
Sorry.
Sorry, I hope it was not asked, but I was just fighting myself into this meeting, but I did it. So I was really curious that how did you decide when to burst out in a song? I mean, I think it was well spaced and everything. I'm just curious about the process. How did you decide that this is the point and that's the next point and that's the third point?
Good question. Well, some of them happened in real life. Like, I'm pretty sure the scene in the kitchen with my roommate was real. That is a thing that happened. But like in the musical theater land, the rule is like there's so much emotion that talking is no longer enough. Like you have to burst into song. So yeah, Peter, can you attest to that? Am I speaking truth?
I don't know about musical theater. I think that's Hanna's life.
That's too. So I mean, like singing about unrequited love, that's a lot of feelings. Being frustrated that like my needs weren't being met in the ER, that was frustrating. What is the other song I sang? The fridge was like, I'm dying, it's fine. Yeah, it's like a way I also deal with stress. There's 4 songs. What's the 4th one? Oh, and then like the ridiculousness of my symptoms. Like I think it was fairly organic. I didn't put a ton of thought into why songs happen. It just was like, this has enough meat to have a song, so we're gonna do it.
I was curious because it was really well spaced, so there was not like too very close to each other, so that's why I was interested in the process.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Thanks, Haiti.
Question.
Yeah.
Hanna, what is your hope for how your art and your story can serve others? I mean, what what are some things that you hope for others because of what you lived through?
Good question. That's a very you question.
Yeah.
There's like many layers. Like the first level is like just to have like a, you know, meaningful cathartic theatrical experience. Like that's the magic. That's why I went to school to study theater, because I love it. And then like the second level is like having people perhaps like look within their own bodies, maybe listen to messages that they're not receiving from their body to help prevent illness. And I was also sort of in the shower, I was also thinking like the entire play is to like fight the patriarchy. Like it's about negating the voices outside of yourself that have caused you to not trust your own inner truth, body, voice, what have you. And it's also, and then like the mega level is like, healthcare is a necessity. It is what I view a basic human right, and like everyone needs it. And without the Affordable Care Act, I would either be dead, really, really sick, or bankrupt, or in like a shit ton of debt. So it's just like, and like, you know, I come from privilege. Like I'm a white girl, so it's just like this is a real issue. So yeah, Medicare for all. Yes, did that answer your question?
Great, thank you. I'd like to ask all of you, like, what did this experience, you know, obviously this should have been in a theater, but some of you are far away, and it did allow access to this story. So just kind of the reverse of what Saul just asked, like, what did this play give you? Like, what was the insight, or what was the connection, or what was the inspiration that it gave all of you? Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Oh, can't hear you, Linda.
There you go.
Linda, turn on your mic. We can't hear you.
Oh, Anna's going, but
Anna, let's go Anna and then Linda.
So we're in Atlanta, so we would never have been able to see the play if it weren't for this situation that forced you to pivot. So, and so in a strange, this is a nice silver lining, because I'm thrilled to have been able to see it and to experience it. And my you know, Hanna and I have been writing letters to each other for so long. And so I've experienced Hanna's life and story through her letters, which have come in you know, we've written furiously, and then we've left off for a little bit, and then we've written furiously, and some of them have coincides with these different parts in her life. And so some of the story felt very familiar, and some of it didn't. And so for me, it was a very personal experience to see it kind of all come together, because I've got, you know, so if you're ever going to make it a bigger production, I've kept every single letter, so I can send you every letter you've ever written me. So okay. we can put your whole life out, because I've got all of them.
Remember that next time you send a letter.
Because I keep them.
Yeah, I love it. I think I have all your letters too. Like
You know, we can just chronicle each other's lives. But so for me, I was just, it was a joy to have this experience of seeing something that I would never have had the opportunity to see and experience. And I was just, it was yeah, I cried. It was a lot. I'm proud of Hanna. I'm looking forward to whatever she does next. It was just lots of words.
Great, thank you. Okay, Linda, yeah.
I'm 71, so the older I get, the more I keep thinking that things seem to happen for a reason. And so part of me wonders, your career choice that you're going off on now is like, woo, baby, would that have happened without this experience? And so not only has your life been changed, but think of all the lives that you will change.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this hadn't happened, I'd probably be working in television in Los Angeles, which like part of me still wants. But yeah, I think, and like I don't know if I say this directly in the play, but I think I can do more good being a drama healer lady. It may not be as glamorous, but like that's really okay. So thank you. Oh, you're still muted, Linda.
Go ahead, Linda. Start again. You were muted. Can you repeat?
Why does that keep happening?
Here you know.
So you could be a little comedy queen as your side gig. For fun.
Yeah, I think that's unavoidable. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Linda. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Anyone else like to share what this experience gave to you? Yeah.
We were planned. We had tickets to the show before COVID-19, so we were very disappointed. But then, of course, very happy that we were able to watch on YouTube, and so we still will come down next year. So this
and
was.
Bring your friends.
Yes, this was a preview and to tie us over.
Thanks, Uncle Eric. Yay.
Yeah. Katie, did you want to?
Yeah. So for me, it was very interesting because I'm coming from Hungary, Europe, where there is universal healthcare, but it doesn't mean that it's a good healthcare because it's corrupt and no money and blah blah blah. So it was still interesting to see that here the situation in the hospital is better, but you still had to fight for the same things that I would have to fight back in Hungary to make understand the doctor that I feel that it's not the answer to my problem. So it was interesting to see all the differences, but at the same time see that there are so many connections, that there are still, the doctor is not listening to you, and you are sharing that you feel that your body is telling you something, but it doesn't matter because they know better. So it was very, very interesting to see the differences at the same time with the similarities.
Yeah,
it was a very strange experience to have both in the same play.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell. So thank you.
Anyone else like to share? Yeah, Chelsea.
I loved how humorous it was. You know, I know it's such like a serious topic, it really is, but you found so much humor in all the things that you went through. And I think I found that very inspirational, definitely, because, you know, you went through so much and you're still able to smile and laugh and like be goofy and sing. And I thought it was really powerful and wonderful. And I can't wait to see it live.
Thanks, Chelsea. That's super nice. Yeah,
go for it.
So I didn't have a question about the theatrics of it, because I'm probably the least theatrical of everybody here, but I'm in government and politics, so we have an opinion about everything. So one thing that I wanted to share was, one thing that it did do was have such a personal story and more of a personal space. And so it really kind of increased that connection that the audience would be able to have, that you're not in a theater, but you're in a very personal space. And so, you know, it was allowed other people that were not necessarily based in California or in the on the West Coast to be able to experience that personal story in a personal space for you, made it much more of a relatable thing that sometimes theater kind of hit or miss on, depending on the decor or whatever it is that somebody might not appreciate. But when it's yours or your direct family, you really kind of feel that.
Thanks. That's really interesting. So I think what I'm hearing you say is that because it was on YouTube, it was like more accessible in like more ways than one. That's really cool. Thank you, Jeff. I hadn't really thought about that so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I felt very similar to that. Like being the director, and like when I was watching each of the shows in video format, both Hanna's and Chelsea's were both pretty intense, and it was way more personal because they were right there. Like they, you know, it's not the distance that we usually have when we're in theater. So yeah, Terry and then Rick.
Yeah, so I'm not a theater performer either, but I love going to theater. But sometimes when I go to a one woman or one man show, it's such a big stage and there's this one person. So no matter how good they are, I find it harder to get pulled into it, because normally when I go to the theater, I like have like the whole shebang, right? And so I think for a one woman show similar to Chelsea's, for me, it's more intense and therefore more meaningful that you're in your own personal space, because you filled up that space and I could just connect to you and I wasn't distracted by anything else, but you didn't look like alone up on a big stage, and you're in your bed and you're in your own little house, and it just felt more, you know, kind of like the Three Bears, like you were the right size for the story in the right space, you know? And I think for me, I'm a mom, so I really related to that part of it, like the helplessness of your parents who, you know, aren't medical professionals, but even if they were, your child is going through something that you can't fix. And that is just the worst feeling on the planet. Not that going through it yourself isn't bad, but sometimes when you're the patient, you're a little out of it and you're suffering in your own way. But the way a parent struggles with the agony of not being able to help is just, I think that really came through by the fact that you mentioned them so much.
And Rick?
Actually, I was just thinking about the last couple of comments, because one of the things that was kind of, I thought about beforehand was, you know, it's different because it's theater that you were doing in your own home. But on the other hand, the other thing that was kind of nice then, rather than me having to sit in a theater, I could actually sit on my front porch in the sun with something to drink and watch it on my tablet, as opposed to me having to go to a theater to watch it. So it was kind of nice from that perspective as well.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's kind of this whole idea of alone together, right? We all watched it, but in our own way.
I have a question. I'm curious to know, because some of you know the story, some of you don't, but like what surprised you or what stuck out to you was like, whoa, I didn't know that. That interests me for some reason.
Yeah.
Yes, Anna, hello.
So I actually, I loved the way you incorporated, we haven't talked about your relationships and the way you displayed those in the story. Yeah, we've left that out. And, you know, because you and I are, you know, we're like gal pals, and that we've like talked about boys since we like knew boys existed. And so for me to see that it almost receded into the background of your story, you know, so for me, I actually loved seeing that happen, because so for me, it almost showed which I knew, I mean, we're growing up, we're almost 30, you know, but for me, it was seeing a maturing of you and how you see yourself and all these different aspects of your life, because I saw this thing that, you know, during our interactions has sort of been like, well, what's the boy situation, sort of was always the forefront, at least of our conversations, sort of become just a part of it. And because it should be a part of it, relationships are a part of it, but it was just, I mean, you know, when all of us talked about Emma, we all talked about Emma, and we all have talked about your parents, because that's the heart of it, and your family and your friends that were there for you. the relationship part was just in the background. So for me, it was interesting to see how you portrayed that, and I really liked how you did that.
Thanks. Yeah, I know it's weird. We're not 15 anymore. Weird. Yeah. Thanks for seeing that I've grown. Yay. Yeah, I mean, like,
I'm not surprised. I loved it.
I know. Boys are fun, but like that was not the main point for sure. So thank you. Yeah.
Anything else anyone found kind of surprising? Yeah, Colleen. Oh, wait. You're muted.
Whole story basically through. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go
okay. So, Hanna, your whole story when you were going through all of this, like we knew about it because your mom told us. So we had this, it was from her perspective, and we were just given this, the constant updates about your situation. And so to hear it from you, and that's just the full experience, and not have it be a secondhand thing. It's just hearing it from you. It's so powerful. And I know that, I think a couple of years ago, remember we were at Moore's house, and I think you did part of it.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I don't, which is weird.
It was maybe like 2 years ago. I think Shirley was there, and they were like, we're having some little dinner party thing. And that was the first little snippet I had heard. And it was so powerful to me then. And anyway, so just to hear it coming from you was like.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah.
Claire. Oh my gosh.
Hello. So probably a ramble, because every time I try to tell Hanna how much I appreciate her, that's usually what happens. So here we are. But yeah, it was like I'd heard like little snippets of this through little scenes we've had to do in our classes and things like that. But just like, yeah, seeing the whole context it was so powerful. And I think Hanna, I think you said it in the show, and maybe when we were talking a little bit yesterday, but just like, oh, are you going to view me differently? And like, my first response was like, no, of course. But then I was like, I also just have an incredibly deepened like respect and appreciation for you and like your resilience. And like, so yeah, it's like, no, you're still beautifully sparkly Hanna, but also like, wow, you are powerful and amazing. And like, yes, so just like this deepened layer of appreciation too. So.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah. Thank you, Claire. Nice. It is scary when you're an artist and you're putting it out there.
Yeah. I was like, everyone hates me. Everyone hates me. Yeah.
But thank you for that. It's really important. Well, we have just a few more minutes. Yeah, Saul, go ahead. Oh, wait. There you go.
I wanted to weigh in on how it was for me. One of the things I didn't expect, and I really appreciate, is that I have a fairly large community of people outside my home. Lots of schools that I've taught in, lots of day camps that I've taught, and I know a lot of people after 58 years and 30 years of teaching, and a lot of them followed, and on Facebook too, a lot of them followed Hanna's illness from afar. And it's always been difficult to kind of fill people in, or it took a lot of work to fill people in on the details of what she was going through, and what her status was, and where we're at. So what your film allowed me to do is to educate my people like that in a very efficient and powerful way. And a lot of my friends replied back to me. It's like, wow, and people who were pretty close to me, they said, oh, wow, I really didn't know how bad it was, or how intense it was, or what you were going through. And now they know. And so, I don't know, that's just a nice thing. It's just the efficiency of the film is really notable. So yay, Hanna, thank you. I'm super proud of you.
We couldn't tell. Thank you, Saul. I think that's wonderful. I'm a little speechless. Which doesn't happen very often. So, well, again, I just want to thank you all for being here and giving us your thoughts and opinions and having a bit of a dialogue. And, you know, we hope very much that we will be all together in the future live. But I also think that there's so many wonderful things that have happened because of this film. Like, you know, and film is something that as theater people, we often really like, no, I don't want to do it. But I think it's really taught, I mean, it certainly taught me, you know, that the reach and the access for a lot of people is it really opens a lot of doors. So that's kind of what I'm taking away. I love to do one word kind of summaries, like, you know, just going down the line, just one word. And you can either share it out loud or you can type it into the chat box if you'd like. Just think of one word that really kind of about this experience or the film or Hanna's story. You can kind of write, you can put it in the chat box if you'd like, because I'll read those out. Just one word that you, or one small phrase. It's all like 2 words, so. So thinking about, that's okay, it's allowed. So just think about what this experience has given you or what your thoughts are. And Hanna, would you like to start?
Yeah, my word is gratitude.
Thank you. And you can just talk. You don't have to wait for me to call on you. So, Strip the Light. I love it. Powerful, superstar hero.
Proud.
Love. Awesome.
Perseverance. Thank you.
I'd say brave.
Yep.
Emotional.
Enduring.
Resilience. Enduring. Okay. Well, again, thank you everyone for being here. And I invite you all to check out the other plays. Stay in touch. We're going to be doing a lot more online. Theater will not be one of the first things opening.
Hannah has a hand raised.
I have a request because I probably won't ever get to see it in person. Can we give Hanna a standing ovation? Because I won't get to give her a standing ovation.
Yes, we totally can. Everybody can stand up.
Guys. Oh, Anna Louise.
Oh, that was great. That was a great ending. Thank you, Anna.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. Hanna, do you have any last thoughts you want to say before we end our meeting?
I'm really touched that all of you came. It was really nice to hear your experience of the piece. And thanks for making this life worth living. Love, Hanna.
All right.
Maisie made an appearance.
Oh, there's your dog. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Besos. Ciao.
Thanks, family.
Bye.
And it